Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Saturday HOA Brunch, presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. Please sit back, relax, and join Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick for an hour of entertaining information about HOAs and HOA law.
Okay, you're on.
Well, good morning, Sacramento, and I know that you just want to get the weather out of the way. Right?
Oh, yeah, it's balmy once again. Fantastic weather.
A balmy fall day. So now here in the next couple of weeks...
We're not even sure what balmy means.
No, but, I mean, we're going to see the leaves changing. Fall's here, and Halloween and the holidays will be fast approaching.
Oh, it's going to be great.
But homeowners associations still need to conduct business as usual, right?
That's right.
Right. I'm excited today, right? There's a lot of downtown development going on. There's a new arena going in. There's renovations and high-rises and mid-rises. And we got this gentleman, Nick Berg. He drove over from San Francisco this morning to join us. What a guy. Got a lot of experience in working on luxury high-rises, mid-rises on the San Francisco Peninsula. Nick, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure. So Nick is president of Cityscape Property Management. Cityscape Property Management in San Francisco, Nick Berg. And we're going to have so much fun today to compare and contrast high-rise management, community association management, with what we call
garden style
community association management. So we're Angius&Terry. We're a law firm. What we do is we represent community associations in all their legal matters. And if you want to listen to us, then you could go on iHeartRadio.
Right. You could download the app on your smartphone.
Right. You could go on your smartphone. You could go on your computer if you're outside the area. But heck, we reach all the way to Kirkwood and all the way on over down the 65, the 99. Yesterday I was out in Vacaville, and you can hear us loud and clear. 888-923-1380. 888-923-1380. KTKZ the answer. So if you want to call in and join the conversation, please feel free to do so. Also today we're going to have
Battle of the Board members. It's back. Viana, she'll be back with us hopefully next week. But also, too, I just want to let that Sacramento Bee writer know that I'm still looking for him for his biased, one-sided article trying to kind of trash the homeowners association industry.
That's right.
I'm still frustrated about that. So I've been looking for him, and I'll find him.
I heard he might call in.
Okay. Well,
no,
if he
I'm
does,
just kidding.
That'd be great. So, Nick, you drove over from San Francisco. Tell us a little bit about Cityscape. Tell us a little bit about your experience and your past in the industry. I mean, we're excited to hear about, high-rise management.
Absolutely. I started in the industry about 10 years ago. Started as an on-site manager at a high-rise building up in the Pacific Heights neighborhood of San Francisco. Cityscape has been around for approximately 16 years. We are, totally focused on the Bay Area and around. We only do HOA management. We do a couple apartment buildings, but our core business is homeowner associations. We have about 100 HOAs, most of which are in the San Francisco area. And we are a full-service management company. We do accounting, all the bookkeeping for our associations, project management. We have disclosure specialists on staff.
And what's your background? You have a PCAM, I see?
I do. I have a PCAM,
That's
which
kind
is
of important in this industry.
It's the PhD of Community Association Management.
It's considered the equivalent of a master's degree in community association management. It's through through CAI, which is the Community Associations Institute.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. I'd be kind of excited. You probably have some pretty cool access for Fleet Week next week, right? With all these apartments.
We do.
You can get up there and watch the Blue Angels and actually probably look down on them with some of the crazy things that they're doing down there.
A lot of our properties have beautiful roof decks that you can see, and you can
cool.
really, they're nice and loud.
Well, this weekend we have the Capitol Air Show, so that's pretty darn cool.
Blue Angels, San Francisco Capitol Air Show.
No, we have, I think it's the Thundercats or something like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a big thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Do you see that in the paper? You're still reading that hard copy of the paper?
It's on the TV.
Hey, so Nick, I have a question for you. I mean, we don't want to jump off track too far, but what is the difference, your difference when you look at how is a high-rise building different management styles from a garden style?
Right.
Like your simple definition.
Great question. So, a garden style. When you typically think of a garden style community, you're thinking of a site where it's spread out over several acres, and it's been subdivided into lots. And when you buy a unit there or a home, you actually own the lot, and you own all of the components of the house that sits on that lot. And the association is responsible generally for maintaining the common landscaping and the roads. In a high-rise, when you buy a condo, really what you're buying is airspace. You're buying everything. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you just, we were just chit-chatting before. What, you said the average median rent is, there was a number you threw out there. I almost threw up my great coffee that Frank makes every morning for us.
According to Zillow, the median rental price of a San Francisco apartment or condo is, last month was $4,225 a month.
Holy cow.
So it really, rents have exploded, and there's clearly a high demand to live in the near or in the urban core.
Yeah, so that's really changed a lot in the San Francisco area, and we've been seeing it on TV and everything like that. One of the things also we talked about is, and just so we could visually think of the differences, is so architectural enforcement with respect to owners saying, doing violations in the garden style, right? Well, they could put things outside the front door. They can paint their exterior. They can have clutter around the front door and things like that in a garden style. But in a high rise, it's a little different, right?
In a high rise, it is different. There's only so much that a homeowner can do in terms of architectural violations. They, like you said, they can't leave a burnt out, disabled car, in front of their house because they just own the condo. So as long as they're not hanging things on their front door that's visible from the hallways, or as long as they're not renovating in a way that's contrary to the architectural guidelines, there's not a lot of violations to be had. The most common one that obviously comes up is when somebody wants to replace their hardwood flooring. They need to comply with certain guidelines around, the underlayment not transmitting a lot of sound to the to the unit below.
Right. So you're saying like people have carpet and they might want to change it to hardwood flooring. That's really popular. There's different types of hardwood flooring now, and so the transmission between units. So that's a big deal. Like you said,
it's a huge deal. Yeah.
Noise, parties. For instance, even a TV could cause some kind of owner to make some, I would say, unreasonable complaints. I mean, really, you have to draw the line when it comes to noise complaints, right?
Absolutely.
They'll call to one of your managers and say, "Oh my gosh, the neighbor below me or above me, around me, they're playing their TV too loud." That might be something that the homeowner association wouldn't really get into.
Right. Yeah. Whereas in a garden style, you have a buffer between your house and the neighboring house. In condos, it's people stacked in little 800 square foot boxes right on top of each other. So something as innocuous as watching TV at what they think is a reasonable noise level, or footfalls from walking around your home, can be very loud in your neighbor's unit.
So then, do a lot of the CC&Rs or the rules have prohibitions or restrictions then specifically targeting replacement of carpeting with hardwood flooring?
There almost always is in high-rise architectural rules around the underlayment, what that rating should be for noise transmission. Sometimes there's hours in the rules around what are kind of quiet hours for the homeowner asszations.
Okay, that's a real distinction.
They have a curfew for
noise.
Really?
Yes.
So
some associations will
style.
say, that between the hours of say 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. That reasonable noise levels are
silence.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to go to break here real quick. What are we going to talk about when we get back, Counselor?
We're going to talk about maintenance and the different ways that garden style associations differ from high-rise associations.
Awesome. Hey, we're going to break. We'll be back.
Having trouble understanding your community association's reserve study? Does your HOA's reserve study seem to be written in a strange language? Hi, I'm Robert Browning, owner of the Browning Reserve Group. At the Browning Reserve Group, we have been providing easy-to-understand reserve studies since 1999. We actually listen to our communities and help them plan for the future. Find us online at browningrg.com. That's browningrg.com, or toll free at 877-708-0600. That's 877-708-0600. Clarity from complexity, the Browning Reserve Group.
If your community association has a good relationship with their current management company, you can stop listening. However, if you are struggling with your current service provider, we'd love to talk with you to see if Omni Community Management would be a good fit. Transparency, education, communication, and trust are just 4 of the qualities that set Omni apart. This is Rolf Crocker, CEO of Omni. Call us at 916-965-8964. That's 916-965-8964. Online at omni-mgt.com. That's omni-mgt.com. Omni Community Management, your friend in the community association management industry for over 20 years.
Have you ever heard of the saying, a person's home is their castle? Of course you have. But sometimes a construction defect can turn your castle into a catastrophe. If this happens to you, you need proper and professional representation. You need Angius&Terry, LLP. For over 30 years, the attorneys at Angius&Terry have been effectively serving homeowners and community associations, recovering more than $500 million on behalf of their clients. Angius&Terry strives to ensure that your construction defect claims are prosecuted in an aggressive and cost-effective manner. Angius&Terry will also continue to work with homeowners and community associations after the construction defect claims are concluded to make sure that the money received from builders is spent wisely and that your interests are protected during the repair process. Don't let a construction defect turn your castle into a catastrophe. Call Angius&Terry LLP today at 916-567-1400. That's 916-567-1400. Online at angius-terry.com. Angius&Terry LLP.
This is AM 1380, The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry LLP. And now your hosts Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Welcome back. So we are here today with Nick Berg. He is a PCAM. He is the president of Cityscape Property Management, and they are headquartered in San Francisco. So this is a great show. We're comparing and contrasting, garden style versus high-rise associations. It's give us a real perspective. I would say that the majority of our listeners, they either live or are board members or manage associations that are garden style. So this is a real good taste of the differences, and to see maybe they want to switch and come on over to your buy one over in San Francisco.
Yeah, what's the median value? I mean, what for a condo? Say, hey, I want to think about looking at some condos in San Francisco. I should probably already be successful in the Silicon Valley, right? Running a tech company or something. But I mean, what? Just throw a number out there. It's probably outrageous.
Some of the numbers are getting really crazy. Condos are going anywhere from 600 to up into millions
of dollars.
Yeah.
Oh my! What about you? And we were talking a little bit about parking. Right, we have our new sponsor, parking enforcement, Brian Hunt. He joined us, and he talked about how he went to a lot of different countries and worked in Malaysia, designing all of these different parking layouts for these high rises. What kind of situations do you run into with Cityscape when you're managing a high rise and you're saying, well, how are we going to facilitate all these owners and where they're going to put their vehicles?
Yeah, usually parking has been kind of mapped out, through the CC&Rs in advance, and either assigned or deeded parking for the buyers. But there's some really elaborate systems that are going in just to try to accommodate as many vehicles in these buildings as possible. We're seeing stackers. Some of these things look like...
Describe that. What's a stacker?
A stacker is a mechanical system where a homeowner will drive their car into a bay, and the car will be either lifted straight up or sometimes lifted straight up and moved laterally to maximize space.
I've seen that on TV. That's really is that really prevalent? I mean, it occurs, but is that
in the newer buildings? Absolutely.
Wow, I wonder what a system like that costs or to put in.
Jonathan,
amazing. You have your construction background.
I don't know anything about stacking cars, but hey, I mean the millennials, right? We've down in the city. There's a lot of us that are utilizing different services for transportation. So you mentioned a lot of these young business professionals working out there in the San Francisco Peninsula, they don't even own vehicles, but they own a $900,000 condo.
Well, a lot of them are renting. A lot of them are bunking up with a bunch of friends to make it work. But that's really what's interesting about the millennials is, it used to be that the American dream, everybody aspired to have a single family home somewhere in the suburbs. The millennials these days, a lot of them are really, want to live in the urban core.
Yeah, right.
And they're learning to live without a vehicle. So we're seeing, vehicle ownership rates for millennials being the lowest, in a long time. And they're making do using, Uber and, city car share and Lyft. So they're finding ways through the sharing economy to get around still.
Hey, so we have, I believe it's our first contestant called in. Just he's checking in. He's getting ready to listen. And I believe we do have, is this Mr. Belt on the line?
Yes, it is.
How are you doing, Earl?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, so, hey, we've got a great guest. He's from the city of San Francisco. He runs a big high-rise management firm down there. And we're going to talk a little bit here about fiduciary duty and some stuff that you could relate to. But we appreciate you calling in, and we're looking forward to your contestant calling in.
Where's he calling in from? What city is he calling in from? Earl, where are you calling in from?
Sacramento area.
Excellent. Local. So why don't you just walk on over and you could join us now. Maybe next show. Well, thank you for calling in. And so we're going to be with you in just a couple minutes, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, we're going to get back to Earl. So just listen to a little bit of the content. And then in a few minutes here, we'll come back and later and play Battle of the Board Members. We'll get our other contestant on the line.
Excellent. Okay, so the number one reason that I believe that managers get dragged into a lawsuit is because of towing vehicles. They always say it might be the board's fault, but it's the manager's fault too. When vehicles towed, it's like in the Old West. You're going to take someone's horse. No way, you're a horse thief. So, do you have towing issues out there in the garages of the high rises?
We do, and actually, it can be more difficult to tow a car out of a high rise than out of an open lot. Because this tow truck's got to get in there, has to get access to it. But absolutely, we have situations where people park in somebody's dedicated spot. We tag it with the required number of days, and then we bring in a tow truck to take it away.
Is that 96 hours that you have to tag it?
Wow, excellent.
You're pretty good,
Jonathan.
Yeah. Little retention going on in the last 35 weeks.
Yeah, catching on. I love it. Yeah. So that's a probably a big problem in many associations, not enough parking, and so it's got to be even worse out there. Yeah, the trend I really see is young people is getting their driver's licenses later and putting it off because the alternatives to driving. So it must be really prevalent over there in San Francisco and Bay Area. What other cities does Cityscape perform association management other than San Francisco?
We have a couple associations in Daly City, a few in Emeryville, Oakland, Berkeley, nothing in the North Bay. So really, we're centered around San Francisco.
Centered around it, 100 associations. So you must have a great reputation, and hopefully there's some listeners from San Francisco listening.
Well, we've got our good friend Wally Rick. He's down in Foster City.
Yeah, maybe he'll call
I'm giving him a shout out though. I want to give Wally calls in all the time, and he's been working on taking care of some stuff. So he's a fan, but I'm hoping that he does call in soon because he's out in Foster City. He actually has an organization, all board presidents, about 30 of them. They meet quarterly. They do all kinds of stuff with the city council in Foster City and have these luncheons. It's pretty. What is it called? The United Homeowners.
I'll go on the internet and find out. Yeah. Or maybe Wally could just call in and remind us what the name of it is.
He's probably listening to it on iHeart.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked a little bit about people, a little bit about parking, and a little bit about pets, but we want to go back to pets. And with respect to pets, one of the we were talking about that horrible accident that occurred about 6 years ago.
Yeah, about 6 years ago.
6 years ago. And so that was, let's see, I brought the dog named Presa Canario.
Yeah, there was an unfortunate incident a while back where a couple living in the Pacific Heights neighborhood of San Francisco was keeping two Presa Canarios, and these are fighting breed dogs. In a fairly small condo, and the dogs got out and mauled one of their neighbor.
Yeah, right across the hall. Yeah,
it was fatal. And
horrible.
One of the it was absolutely awful. One of the outcomes of that, for better or for worse, and there's still a lot of controversy around this. A lot of community associations in San Francisco have breed restrictions and size restrictions.
Yes. In fact, for instance, so I had to do research on this because some associations right around that time, they came to me and said, hey, we want to make some rules, association rules. We want to prohibit particular breeds. Are we going to be in trouble for the discrimination laws, discriminating against breeds? And the answer is no. There's not. The California and the federal discrimination laws, they don't have anything to do with pets themselves at all. So that doesn't come into play. In fact, when I was doing my research, I found out that the city of Detroit, they prohibit certain types of breeds.
Yeah.
And so some associations do have different rules that will prohibit different types of breeds. And it is a point of, I would say, argument that some board members, managers say you shouldn't go ahead and make rules that prohibit breeds. Just go ahead and prohibit conduct. But it's two viewpoints.
It's two viewpoints. You'll have people on one side saying, it's not the breed, it's the dog and how it was raised. There are people on the other side who say, this is a densely populated, building where there are children running around, and even if this dog doesn't have the willingness to attack and hurt somebody, it has the ability to really cause some bad damage.
Right. Yeah. And the viewpoint that I look at it from is from the viewpoint of an association attorney, and that is, well, what would a court allow? Would a court go ahead and allow prohibitions on breeds? And I think that as long as you can articulate the justification for the rule in a fashion that supports why you're doing it, and just as you have, Nick, I think that a court would indeed allow prohibitions on breeds, especially if you're in a high-rise versus a garden style.
Yeah, so you probably can't have like that miniature pony companion pet, right, on the 54th floor of a building down in the financial district.
You threw that one out. Time out.
Well, throw it. Come on, bring it on.
That's completely different, Mr. Broderick. I counterpoint here. So when you're talking about companion pets, right, do you deal with that issue?
All the time.
All the time.
Crazy. Okay, well, hey, we'll wait a couple more seconds here, but our other contestant has called in, right? So what are they going to be? The questions are in. We're going to come back and talk about
fiduciary duty, pet rules, and just let the record reflect that Nick did say that if one of the contestants did not show up, he was willing to step in.
He was rolling up his sleeves.
Yeah, Cityscape.
Wow. Okay, so we've got her on the line now. Gloria, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, how's your Saturday morning treating you thus far?
Well, it's beautiful and the weather's fresh, and I enjoyed the rain on Thursday, so all is well.
Excellent. Yeah. So where are you calling in from, Gloria?
I'm calling in from Modesto.
Motown, home of the Nuts, right? The minor league baseball team?
That's right.
Correct.
Okay, so they are the AA for the Giants? Do I have that right?
I have not. Frank's shaking his head.
I think there might be AAA. I might be wrong. I'm not a big baseball fan.
Oh, they're AAA. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, when we come back from this next break, then we're going to, Brad, the attorney in here, the one that's qualified to actually address us with some of this homeowners association law. He's going to talk about fiduciary duty. What was the other? Pets? Some other things?
Yeah, people, pets, and parking. Primarily, it's going to be fiduciary duty, though. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So hang on the line, Gloria. We have Earl on the line. You both are looking lively, and so we're looking forward to Battle of the Board Members. I just want to mention a little bit about the law with respect to pets. So it was way back in the year 2001, January 1st, 2001, where this law became operative. It seems like just yesterday. Oh my gosh! And so when we come back, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about this pet law. There is actually in the Davis-Sterling Act, we know what that's for, Community Association Law. And when we come back, we're going to talk with Nick Berg with Cityscape. We're going to talk about the pet law.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll be back. Probably, I don't know, Frank's holding up his fingers a minute or two. So stick with us. Battle of the Board Members is also coming up too.
Did you see the story about the Homeowners Association? I wonder what their residents think.
I don't know, but I love my condominium association. The place looks great and is well managed, and our property values are increasing.
Well, that's a good thing.
Community Associations Institute, CAI, has helped us build a great community. They have tools for safeguarding our investment, including education for our board and professional training for our manager. Just visit CAI at responsiblecommunities.com.
Okay, responsiblecommunities.com.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Hurricane Joaquin is pretty much out of the picture for the U.S. East Coast, but rain and flooding continue to be a threat, especially in the Carolinas. National Weather Service forecaster Mike Proud says it will rain in South Carolina heavily for most of the weekend.
Some of those rain rates are 1 to 2 inches an hour. That stretches from the Charleston coast through Columbia and into the upstate of South Carolina.
Charleston Police Chief Greg Mullen says the water continues to rise in the city.
We've also got a lot of folks now that are letting us know that there's water coming up near their homes and some of them in their homes. So we're concerned about, evacuations and those types of things.
Meantime, the search has resumed for a missing cargo ship that disappeared from radar screens during Hurricane Joaquin's departure from the Bahamas. The group Doctors Without Borders now says 16 people died at an airstrike on a northern Afghan hospital, including 3 children. Kabul correspondent Bureau Chief Lynn O'Donnell reports.
The international medical charity Doctors Without Borders says that its clinic there, a trauma centre where they treat the war wounded from across the north of Afghanistan, has sustained bad damage, that 3 of its staff had been killed and 30 of its staff were missing.
U.S. forces in Afghanistan acknowledged that they conducted an airstrike on Kunduz in the early morning hours, trying to recapture that facility from Taliban fighters who were using it as a fort. GOP presidential candidate Marco Rubio says the U.S. must make sure it can perform the difficult task of vetting any potential refugees it lets into the country from Syria.
It's not that we wouldn't want to do it. The question is, could we even do it? Because it's so hard to vet people that are coming from that part of the world these days.
The Florida Republican senator tells the Salem Radio Network that the U.S. has always accepted refugees, but the U.S. does have a responsibility to make sure no terrorists get in. This is SRN News.
Hi, this is Rick Russo, owner of Russo Insurance Agency and Financial Services. We proudly serve Granite Bay, Roseville, Rockland, Sacramento, Lake Tahoe, and the surrounding areas. At Russo Insurance Agency, we like to say, get to know us before you need us. Our insurance agency is built on relationships and trust. If you want to be certain that your most valuable assets are insured correctly, allow us to give you more than just a 15-minute quote. For all your commercial, home, auto, and life insurance needs, call us today at 916-791-1901. That's 916-791-1901, or online at rickrussoinsurance.com. That's rickrussoinsurance.com. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Morgan Fussell. My company, Broadband Agreements, negotiates cable television and broadband right of entry, access, and compensation agreements for your communities. At Broadband Agreements, we offer a free review of all agreements with a signed letter of authorization. Broadband Agreements will improve your community's income and/or savings, or you don't pay us a dime. Visit us at broadbandagreements.com. That's broadbandagreements.com. Or call me, Morgan Fussell, directly at 916-939-5026. That's 916-939-5026. Broadband Agreements online at broadbandagreements.com or 916-939-5026.
News, opinion, insight. AM 1380, The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Hey, the HOA Power Hour's flying by, but I think nobody's knocked us off our pedestal, right? We're still America's #1 community association talk radio show, right, Epstein?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so you guys are going to talk a little bit about pets?
Yeah,
right?
so first the pet law, and then we're going to get into fiduciary duty, and then we're going to round things out with
Battle of the Board members, right?
Members.
Gloria versus Earl.
You can call in and join the conversation, 888-923-1380, 888-923-1380. We do thank you for listening, and we'd love to hear from you. So the pet law. So this was a crazy law. It was enacted in 2001, and basically what it says is that associations must allow owners to have at least one pet. And it had a grandfather provision that I don't think applies to any associations anymore, because what this grandfathering was, it says, well, this only applies to governing documents entered into, amended, or otherwise modified after 2001. And then governing documents include rules. And so is there really, you guys, what do you think? You think there's any associations out there that haven't amended their rules since 2001?
Unlikely.
Highly unlikely. I like how Nick put that guarded, just wanted to make sure. Highly unlikely. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so now how do they define pets, though? Pets are any domesticated bird, cat, dog, aquatic animal kept within an aquarium or other animal as agreed to between the association and the homeowner. So we have dogs, cats, birds, aquatic animal kept within an aquarium. And so back in the day, people would say, well, what about alligators and what about snakes? And so I don't think that they are within this protection of pets.
They would not be.
No.
Yeah, how do you bring that into a meeting? Say, yeah, everybody, I just want to let you know I'm moving in my anaconda this week, so if anybody can help us lift it into the elevator.
So you'd be surprised. A lot of homeowner associations have pet committees, which are volunteer homeowners that offer to interview the pet before it moves into the community.
Wow, this is completely different than, say, garden style.
Ace Ventura just popped in my mind for some reason.
Let's hear about this, Nick.
So the new homeowner's required to meet with the pet committee. They'll interview the dog or the cat or the alligator, and if it doesn't meet the requirements of the community, the pet committee might make a recommendation to the board to either disallow the pet or to figure out some other accommodation.
So let's back up a little
Craziest
bit.
pet you've ever had come up to the pet committee trying to move into the HOA.
Oh God, we've seen reptiles. I've never seen an alligator, but certainly snakes,
iguanas,
tarantulas. Yes, the most common is just dogs that come in, and it's just really hard to determine the breed.
So they look at it's a matter of like a job interview. It's the character. They look at the dog in the eye.
Exactly. We're looking for how
pedigree
how aggressive it is. If it's friendly, if they're worried about this being a danger to other people.
Yeah.
Is this thing housebroken so that it's not making a mess of the hallways and the lobby.
I could imagine the pet committee. Well, unfortunately, we're sorry that your dog's fur is not shiny enough, and so we're going to have to. This is
okay. I'm going to have to interrupt.
Yeah,
you.
interrupt. Cut me off. I'm having too much fun.
We're running out of time. We have to talk about the law so that we can do our battle of the board members. So, just some different issues that we want to talk about in particular is fiduciary duty, and a board member. They have a fiduciary duty. They just because they have a manager doesn't mean that they can completely abdicate that duty. They still have the fiduciary duty, even if they rely on a manager. And also there's maintenance too, which we want to touch upon as well, and that is exclusive use common area, and we talked about that a little bit, and that'd be balconies, and in garden style would be carports. And there's this new law. The new law, it's effective when? January 1st, 2017, Jonathan?
The new maintenance law?
The new maintenance law.
Gosh, they're always changing stuff.
Yeah, it's trying to address this fact that exclusive use common area component maintenance is not clearly defined, and it's not really clearly defined in the revised code sections as well. And so these are 2017, and what it's going to provide is that the individual owners, they're only required to maintain these exclusive use common areas, whereas the association is required to go ahead and repair and replace these exclusive use common areas. And this law comes into effect in 2017. And so you associations, we talked about this before, and you want to look at your governing documents to try and define what this means by maintain, repair, and replace. Also, fiduciary duty, you have board members have to they have to actually consult with experts like Nick or Bob Browning or the experts if they're going to make a decision.
Insurance experts,
right,
construction
if it's
experts.
outside their expertise. Associations, when it comes to common area, they are obligated to maintain, repair, and replace all three of common area. Board members, they are fiduciaries for associations, and what that means is courts, they're not going to go ahead and overturn decisions made by boards as long as they comply with their fiduciary duty. That is, make reasonable decisions after reasonable inquiry that doesn't favor any particular owners. Associations have to comply with both the Davis-Sterling Act and the Corporation Code, and I think that covers most of our questions for our Battle of the Board members. So hopefully our board members were
That
were
was the
listening.
fastest 2 minutes of law. Yeah, so
I guess I can.
You can brush up a little bit, maybe more on
All
fiduciary
right.
duty
there
or
is
something.
Also, there's we're going to have a couple questions on conflicts of interest, and
There
that's
we go.
always interesting. So board members, in essence, they can go ahead and they can have a contract with their own association. They can, but that contract, it has to be fair and reasonable. And in fact, in order to avoid having to prove it's fair and reasonable, the board member, they have to recuse themselves, right, Nick? And they can't vote on that if they're going to have a contract with their association. Okay, so rooting back to the pet laws, we have the fact that the pet laws allow or provide that owners can have at least one pet. I'm running out of steam there.
You are running out of steam. Is there anything you want to just brush up, add, Nick, with your experience? Real quick.
Yeah, no, I think with pets, they're grandfathered in, so the intent is not to be able to make changes to the rules and then have Fluffy, who's been on the property for 10 years, to suddenly get kicked out. So if the board wants to make changes to the pet rules, it's going to apply for people going forward.
Hey, so we're going to go to break, and when we come back, it is Earl versus Gloria, right? And it is going to be Battle of the Board members.
Right. So in this battle, it's going to be primary questions about fiduciary duty. So listeners and our board members on the line, think about that. Decisions have
The
to be
Harlem
reasonable.
Globetrotters just showed up, right? Thanks to Frank in the back on the sticks.
Right.
We'll be back from break here shortly. Stick with us.
Did you see the story about the Homeowners Association? I wonder what their residents think.
I don't know, but I love my condominium association. The place looks great and is well managed, and our property values are increasing.
Well, that's a good thing.
Community Associations Institute, CAI, has helped us build a great community. They have tools for safeguarding our investment, including education for our board and professional training for our manager. Just visit CAI at responsiblecommunities.com.
Okay, responsiblecommunities.com.
Having trouble understanding your community association's reserve study? Does your HOA's reserve study seem to be written in a strange language? Hi, I'm Robert Browning, owner of the Browning Reserve Group. At the Browning Reserve Group, we have been providing easy-to-understand reserve studies since 1999. We actually listen to our communities and help them plan for the future. Find us online at browningrg.com. That's browningrg.com, or toll free at 877-708-0600. That's 877-708-0600. Clarity from complexity, the Browning Reserve Group.
The challenges presented by today's economy and rebounding housing market is forcing many homeowners association boards of directors to operate their HOAs more like a business. It's a balancing act of trying to stay solvent and still provide homeowners with quality amenities and services. One of the main challenges HOA boards are facing is attempting to recover unpaid HOA fees owed by delinquent homeowners. Collection efforts are often very time-consuming. If you want to get the HOA fees collection monkey off of your back, call ATC Assessment Collection Group. ATC is an attorney-supervised collection company, providing collection and foreclosure services to HOAs in both California and Nevada's most recognizable communities. Get back to what you actually volunteered to do as an HOA board member. Effectively oversee your community. Call ATC today at 916-641-1410. That's 916-641-1410. Online at atcacg.com. That's atcacg.com. ATC Assessment Collection Group.
AM 1380. The Answer.
You're listening to the Saturday HOA Brunch presented by Angius&Terry, LLP. And now your hosts, Brad Epstein and Jonathan Broderick on AM 1380, The Answer.
Well, it's time for the fourth quarter of our show, right?
That.
Oh, you got to brush this up.
You've
got this is a
I do
tough
want to mention
question
that.
for Battle of the Board members.
Because Nick is going to go ahead and he's going to ask questions to Earl as our second play second contestant. I'm going to ask questions to Gloria. And so one of the questions we'll tell you, it does have to do with this maintenance of exclusive use common areas. That's the new law. The new law doesn't clearly define what maintenance means. Yeah,
really?
Kind of interesting. Right. So that's why.
So then did they throw in like a tricky, like reasonable maintenance or
well,
one
that's
of those?
why associations should define that in the rules or CCNRs. Okay, Jonathan, take it away.
All right. So I'm going to flip a coin here in studio and call it in the air, Earl.
Heads.
Heads. Okay. It looks like it was tails. Gloria, you're going to go first, and Brad
Okay.
Epstein's going to ask you 3 questions, true or false. Answer true or false, 3 questions, and we're going to go ahead, and Nick is going to be our guest official / what?
Questionnaire.
And he's going to ask Earl 3 questions, and we're going to go back and forth, 11 questions each, and then we're going to award some prizes.
Right, so Jonathan's going to keep score. So, Gloria, you're going to go first. So it's 3 questions. Earl, you just stand by and wait for Nick to ask you questions. And, Gloria, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. After each of them, just say true, false. If, in fact, I blur my words, go ahead and just ask me again. Or if you just want to hear the question again, feel free to say, ask me that again, because the questions sometimes can be convoluted. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Fantastic. Gloria. Board members, true or false, board members don't always have to abide by the fiduciary duty if they rely on a manager.
False.
Correct. Nice job. Number 2, as peers of fellow owners in the community, board members should do as their fellow owners tell them.
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
As peers of fellow owners in the community, board members should do as their fellow owners tell them.
False.
Correct. Nice job. Number 3, boards may authorize association managers to assist in enforcement of the association's rules.
Yeah, true.
Perfect. 3 for 3. Jonathan, write that down.
That's a perfect round for Gloria. All right, so we've got...
we need the Gloria song.
Right. Earl, you're up with our special guest from San Francisco, Nick. So 3 questions.
Nick from Cityscape.
True or false?
All right, Earl, a lot of pressure here.
President from Cityscape.
The difference between maintaining and repairing in an exclusive use common area component is not clearly defined in the revised code section. So, we talked about this a little bit before. So this is asking, is the difference between maintaining and repairing the exclusive use common area, is it not clearly defined?
True.
Nice job.
Got it, Earl.
Nice job.
Well done.
Good job, Nick.
Second question. Board members are not subject to the governing documents if they rely on a manager to enforce them.
False.
Oh, you're
That's
almost
correct.
perfect here, Earl. Last one. Changes to the Davis-Sterling Act, effective 2017, will provide that the owners are only responsible for maintenance of their exclusive use common area unless the CC&Rs provide otherwise.
Say that again.
So let me do that again. So the changes to the Davis-Sterling Act provides that owners are only responsible for maintenance of their exclusive use common area unless the CC&Rs provide otherwise.
False.
Oh, you got that one wrong.
I think that's
okay.
a new one.
Missed that
That's
one.
2017. We're like a whole
Hey,
year
that's
and
fair.
2
That's
months.
still
But
fair.
that's all right. He's still
He
in the
could come
game.
back.
He's still in the
He
game.
could
All
be
right,
the
round
comeback.
2.
Round 2. Gloria, are you ready?
The questions were harder.
They were. I know that. I was cringing.
Are you throwing a challenge flag, Earl? We have problems when
That's
that
right.
happens.
Flag on the play. Okay, Gloria, are you ready for round 2?
I'm ready.
All right, number 1. Board members must consult with competent experts about matters outside of their expertise before making decisions about such matters.
True.
Exactly. Number 2. Associations are allocated the responsibility to repair and replace, but not maintain the common area.
Can you repeat that?
Associations are allocated the responsibility to repair and replace, but not maintain the common area.
False.
You're so correct.
Got it. Wow.
Number 3. Board members are fiduciaries for their associations.
Board members are fiduciary for... Yes.
That one's way too easy. Earl is going to call flag.
This
that
is
was correct.
lopsided.
I know. What happened there?
Right?
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Glory, great job. That last one was a really easy one.
Mathematically, he is not out of it. So,
yeah,
Earl, I have faith
lightning
in
round
you.
and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Earl, here we go. Courts will not overturn decisions made by boards who comply with their fiduciary duties.
I feel bad for Earl. These questions are...
True.
Right.
Got it.
Nailed it. That was a tricky one.
Second question. Associations have to comply with both the Davis-Sterling Act and the Corporations Code.
True.
Excellent, Earl. A fiduciary duty is not a legal obligation, but rather a guideline for how board members should act.
False.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Hey, it's a 1-point
He's the
game,
comeback
right?
kid.
We're 2 rounds are down, and you know what the rule is on this one. So it's 30 seconds, the lightning round. You can't repeat the question, and it's true or false. And it's supposed to be 30 to, 45 seconds? We kind of have a little bit of leniency. So
Well, here's what happened. What happened was it used to be 30 seconds, and then we found that wasn't enough. So we went to 45 seconds, right? Mm-hmm. So it's 45 seconds. But, okay, so what Jonathan is saying, Gloria, is that we can't repeat the questions.
Okay.
So it's partly on
hey,
the
somebody's got to put their
questioner,
foot down here, okay?
Right. Okay. Number one, we'll go 1 through 5.
I got the timer ready.
All right. Oh, Glory, did you say you're ready?
I'm ready.
I thought she said that. I just want to hear her say it again. Okay, ready? Associations are responsible for maintaining common facilities in the common area.
True.
True.
Got it.
Oh, Earl, you hang on. Earl, you have your own round. So Earl, you hang on.
I feel like giving him a point for that.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Can't do
Lightning
that.
round. Lightning round.
All right, this is just for Gloria, these 5. Reserve funds are to be used for repair and replacement of major components.
True.
Right. A visual inspection of major components in the common area must be done at least every 3 years.
False.
That is incorrect. Every 3 years, you got to do the visual inspection. Reserves. Number 4, a board member may never contract with their association.
False.
That's correct. Number 5, last one. By law, all pets may be prohibited in community associations.
False.
That's correct. Okay.
I think that's 10 out of 11. 10 out of 11.
That's 10. Okay.
Yeah, she did a good job. I've met Gloria. She knows her stuff.
Okay, Earl, I think you can push this to a tiebreaker. Are you ready?
Ready.
We do have a tiebreaker for you,
We do
Earl.
have a tiebreaker question, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, here we go. Board members are responsible for the conduct of business and delivery of services to the association.
False.
That is actually true. So you missed that one.
Challenge.
Glorious popping the champagne.
Sorry, Earl.
Challenge flag.
Sorry, Earl. Yeah, but no. Board members are ultimately responsible for the business and the delivery of service in the association. So they are ultimately responsible for everything. If a board member, second question, if a board member relies on experts, then they can make any decision they want.
False.
That's correct.
That is correct.
Yeah.
By law, pet means any kind of animal that owners want to domesticate.
I'm getting a giraffe.
False.
Excellent work. A reserve study must include an estimate of the remaining useful life of each major component.
True.
Meaning, the reserve study, you have to estimate how long we think this is going to last. Is that true?
True.
Excellent.
There you go, Earl.
An association manager is an agent of the association. True or false?
True.
Excellent.
All right, so hey, it was a close battle, right?
That was very close.
It was a close battle.
Board members, you guys helped keep this thing going, right, with Common Interest Development, so we greatly appreciate your support.
Thank you so much.
And calling in.
Okay, so what we're
I'll
going to do
get a hold of
is
them next
you'll
week and we'll
hold
get them
next
their
week.
gift cards, yeah.
Gloria was the first place winner.
She's
Earl
a
was the
winner.
second place winner. Gloria, how does it feel to be a winner? How do you feel?
She's already out
I
with
guess I know a little bit.
She says happy.
Happy. Well, all right. And Earl, we appreciate you calling.
I want to hear, Earl, you have any comments? I mean, you threw that flag.
Congratulations to Gloria.
Oh, what a guy.
Thank you.
What a guy. That's great.
Well, you two have a great
Gracious.
weekend.
Okay, thank you guys.
you.
Okay,
You too.
so now we'll talk a little bit about the tiebreaker question. If an association adopts a new rule restricting the number of pets, they should grandfather in an owner's current pets.
What's the answer, Nick?
That is true.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
You have to grandfather the existing pets. How cruel and heartless it is to kick out an existing pet that's been there forever.
You're evicted, little Peppy.
Well, President Berg from Cityscape, thank you so much for coming over to Sacramento.
My pleasure.
We appreciate your insight. We'll see you around at events and stuff like that. We'll have you back again. How's that sound?
I'd love to.
Thank you, Nick.
It's been a
Nick
treat,
Berg
guys.
with Cityscape. Thank you, listeners. We'll see you next